The reason why I bring up my theory is because between episodes 4 and 5, it's like two completely different shows. And I was like, what? Episode 4 is...
Oh, God.
Have a headache, Rich?
Yes. Yes, I have a headache. I've got a fucking headache.
From watching Star Trek Picard episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9?
No, I was in an accident on my bike and I fell off the overpass. Landed right on my head. Oh my God. And then I had to watch Star Trek Picard and got a huge headache.
What was worse, getting hit by a car and falling off your bike? Or watching Picard? Both have the word car in it.
Joke?
Hit it, Johnny! So I'd like to remind you, Rich, that this is all your fault, but we're back. We took a little miniature hiatus. We had a special guest in town for a Best of the Worst episode. I was busy editing.
We had some important shit going on.
We had some other things going on in Star Trek Picard. The weeks were flying by. I was, oh, another one? Oh, another one?
Like, I know I grabbed like a comical ice bag, like, haha, Rich has a comical ice bag on his head. The headache is real.
Okay.
The headache is real. This is a joke. This isn't. Like, I watched episode 6. I had to stop. I actually had to stop because it was just, oh God.
I was wrecked.
I wanted to, I don't know if, I was going to say very briefly, but I wanted to do a thing I referenced early on where I said the phone game. The writers played a game of phone with the scripts.
Yeah.
For our viewers, refreshment course, a lot of them don't watch Star Trek Picard. They just watch the show to listen to us talk about Star Trek Picard.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and you and I take turns trying to say all the important plot elements, plot points that occurred from the beginning to try to make semblance of this mess.
Okay. Yeah, touching moment with Laris. Because Laris was married last season, and her husband just died between seasons. He just died. And I guess between seasons, we didn't see any of this. Picard and her are falling in love.
Next, we establish the graduating class of Starfleet Academy. And we discover that Rafi and Eleanor have bonded over the course of the last couple of years, and she's encouraged him to join Starfleet. Normally, I thought this was kind of a laughable little bit, but it does sort of come back in some way in episode 9.
Rios breaks up with Agnes.
He did?
Yeah.
7 of 9's flying around on Rios' old ship, and Rios is now the captain of the Stargazer. They encounter a spatial anomaly that appears to be the Borg, and it's sending out a signal that it wants to have a truce.
The Borg
and talk
Queen
to
shows
Captain
up in the Stargazer, starts waving
Q
around her tentacles, and Picard blows up the ship.
Everything blows up, and Picard wakes up in an alternate present.
7 of 9 is the president, and she's not a Borg. And she has a Borg Queen in her basement.
Wow, that's a huge thing.
Picard is General Picard
we travel
of the
back in
Confederacy,
time to fix the timeline
Nazi,
to stop the
fascist,
evil universe.
Evil empire that
And
has
we've forgotten
conquered all
about
of
anything
the
that had to do with the Borg.
alien
I don't know
species
why
in
the
galaxy.
Borg incident caused the alternate
They bring
future,
the
but
Borg
it doesn't
Queen
matter.
back
We're going
with
back
them
into
to the past because she knows how to do the calculations to slingshot them around the sun.
Oh, Guinan has a bar. We forgot Guinan has a bar.
Guinan has a bar in the regular, normal present, but Guinan also has a bar in the alternate 2024.
Star Trek something.
Oh, something
regular
horrible happened in
2024
Picard's past involving his
We don't
mother
know if Guinan had a bar in the
that's got
fascist alternate present.
And
A little atrium.
Isn't in the atrium? Because there's an atrium. It's some bad.
Vague bad. Love, bad love.
Emotion, feel,
love,
mother,
loss, tragedy,
Yeah.
love, loss, tragedy, emotion, ghosts of our past, blah, 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 blah.
That's really, really wonderful.
Rios gets captured by ice.
Science fiction, great science fiction, has always existed in two levels of storytelling, like cool, fun, speculative fiction storytelling, and holding up a mirror to our own world.
Yeah.
One of the really direct ways that I thought this season absolutely holds up a mirror to one of the greatest problems and I think tremendous moral failings of America is the way that we treat immigrants. And specifically the way ICE, which I believe is a Gestapo-like organization, targets human beings for cruelty and for punishment and for dehumanization and for things that I was taught are not American. How do you get into those scenes and keep what I imagine is visceral disgust of ICE from overwhelming your performance?
And then rescued by Rafi and Seven, and then does nothing about it.
Wow, that's really awesome. I love that.
7 of 9 and Rafi need to rescue Rios, and they need to do it on the down low
Yes,
and
then
keep
to
everything as
avoid
quiet as
altering
possible
the
because they don't want
timeline,
to
they
alter
use
the
the
timeline.
EVP to stall
So they
the
steal a cop
Department
car
of
for no
Homeland Security
reason
bus,
and have a wild
and then
chase that would
come on
probably
board
broadcast
and
on
use the
national
EVP to
television
knock
with
out the
helicopter
driver
footage and
release
everything
all of the
on the
prisoners
highway,
out
and then they
into the
get beamed out of the
woods on
car
side of the
because
road
they've just
where
made too much of a mess
they
out of
can run off
everything,
to
and we're
God
never going to
knows
mention
where
this
and alter
again.
the
It's all
timeline.
okay. Then Agnes starts becoming a Borg queen.
And then we discover that Picard's ancestor, Rene Picard, is
This
a
seems
spaceship
like a thing that is
pilot
entirely
who's gonna
appropriate
fly
to
the
be
Europa
emotional
mission.
about. I mean,
Then
what you're
Q
talking,
shows up.
so the
Well, that's
reason I
first
asked you
episode.
about
Q
this
shows up
is
and
that
starts rambling.
Well, Q shows up again, and he doesn't do anything.
Oh, really?
Q shows up and starts meddling with Dr. Soong's experiments
Sun?
when he's raising a
Wait,
daughter
isn't
he
Dr.
invented
Sun
in a
from
lab.
the 25th century? They built that robot, Soji, who had a twin sister.
We thought, well, you thought foolishly that Soong was a good guy just trying to help his daughter.
What
but it
happened to
turns
Rene
out
Picard? Wasn't
he's
she
created
really
many
important?
daughters. She's still
that's
important.
amazing.
Ultimately
Quest
hasn't left to be the world's greatest mad scientist. Dr. Nguyen Soong, or Dr. Nguyen Soong's relative.
But Rene Picard is the key to everything. Where did she go? Where am Rene Picard?
Rene Picard am at the
Michael.
gala ball to mingle with a whole bunch of strangers so she could catch COVID and then go into quarantine and then have COVID brain when she flies a spacecraft into the sun.
She's the most vitally
Same with
important
Q.
person in the
Q
storyline.
can't snap his fingers
We
and
haven't
make
seen
magic
her
happen anymore.
in
and he poses
3
as
episodes.
Rene Picard's therapist,
And she's just
to
been
convince
gone
her
for 3
that
episodes.
she's too scared or not good enough to go on the Europa mission because Rene Picard
Red
has
alert!
depression, much like we discover Picard's mother has mental illness. Picard, the women in the Picard family have a history of mental illness. We're talking about the part where Guinan has a magic potion bottle that she opens that summons a Q.
It's not a magic potion bottle, it's part of a ritual. It's a ritual because her people have a truce with the Q people, and every time that a Lorian drinks from this one specific bottle that Guinan just happens to have, a Q will show up and talk to them.
Why does it have to be a bottle with liquid in it? Because she's a bartender and that's the limit of their creativity?
Red alert!
Are all Elorians bartenders?
I think Elorians are bartenders because
They love to listen?
Eating and drinking is a vital part of their culture.
Do you remember when Guinan got sick and vomited because of time sickness, but then it never happened again when she was interfering with time? Do you remember when Guinan's
Laris
astral
showed up,
projection
but she's
appeared
not
to Picard
Laris?
while they were
She's
being
a
interrogated
Gary
in the
7,
basement of the FBI
and she
headquarters
follows
while the
important people
weird
around in
FBI
history, but it
agent
turns
man
out
who's
no,
made it his life
she
mission
actually
to,
is a Romulan,
investigate
and she looks just like
aliens
Laris
on Earth
because she looks
when
just
he
like
was
Laris.
a small boy, just like Picard. He also had an
I'm
incident
so
that changed the course
unbelievably
of his
happy
life.
to have it in my hands and to play with it that I ran the batteries out between takes and got into so much trouble. For the rest of the series, the prop department would take the props away from me between takes because of that one incident. And I have absolutely no regret.
Which we later discover she is a Romulan. She was disguising her form to fit in with humans, even though she doesn't interact with them ever, and can jump around into other people's bodies.
Why does everybody's ancestor look just like them?
Casting.
My dream job, Star Trek universe, Will Wheaton's dream job is to be on Lower Decks. I'm just putting that out there into the world.
There are a lot of things that are happening. None of them tell a great, coherent story, and they just kind of like come in and out of the narrative at like random times.
You know what the result of that is? Being extremely bored. That's what I was watching these. I was extremely bored. Right? Because I was like, how everyone just keeps talking, and there's those little sprinkles of mystery, like Picard's mother.
Well, it's not, you say mystery, what it is, it's like fake intelligent dialogue. It's extremely poetic, and it says absolutely nothing.
Say something real. One real thing. Why do you think we're here? I'm stuck. We are. What does that mean? And who are you?
Like, the way people talk to each other in this is just strange as fuck.
I'm a ghost. It's the best way to keep her safe.
Okay, Picard is talking to the Watcher, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. And it's not Laris, right?
Yeah.
He loves Laris, I get that. It's the Watcher, right? And she says something like, I've spent my whole life watching over her, you know? And then Picard says, like, lovingly, wistfully, thoughtfully, whatever, he says, and who's watching over you?
And who is watching over you?
What does that mean?
And then I was like, one, what does that mean? Two, is he implying like she's lonely? Real Picard would have said, right.
My empathic powers can only sense a man of deep passion and conviction. I'm simply curious to know what lies beneath.
Nothing. Nothing lies beneath.
And then another thing, spoilers, Picard's mother dies by suicide because she has mental illness. But Picard is telling Laris, not Laris, what's Laris?
We'll call her Watcher, Laris.
Picard is telling Watcher, and he says, my mother hung herself.
My mother hung herself here in this place.
It's my mother hanged herself. It's a very common mistake that people make. Also, Picard is on his headset, and I'm pretty sure I heard this right.
Guys, I think I'm in trouble here.
Have you ever heard Picard say, guys, come on, we're gonna go beam down to the planet? It's so informal to speak that way.
At this point, I am so disconnected from actual Star Trek that I didn't even notice. Like, I didn't even associate, I didn't even think of this as being the same character. I really don't. Picard, like, intellectual, rational man, and you have that scene where he gives, Renee Picard the pep talk, and I'm like, oh, finally you get a Picard speech. Finally they will utilize Picard's character right. And what he says to her is just like emotional gobbledygook.
I found that even in the darkest circumstances, there is a light, sometimes only a glimmer. Trust that light.
Yeah.
Find a way back, no matter what it takes.
Stars and points of light or something. What was it? Picard would give her some speech about how what she's doing is going to be for the betterment of all of mankind. These are great important things that you will be a part of.
He's now become...
Space is important and beautiful.
He's become wistful, dreamy Picard.
You remind me a bit of my mother. She, too, loved the stars.
Star Trek, emotional Star Trek is just garbage. It's it's blasphemy.
Yeah, it's sort of the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
This is secular blasphemy.
I just picture that ad that I showed last time when it's just like all the critic quotes. Intense, amazing, you'll cry butterfly tears, secular blasphemy. No one would get what you're saying. No one would understand those two words being put together.
It's because morons are watching. This is a show that is designed to make morons feel smart. I'm watching the smart thing, and none of it is smart. It's all stupid. New Trek is the dumbest writing that has ever been committed to paper.
I half suspect, not half suspect, I fully suspect this is just a vanity project for Patrick Stewart that's gone off the rails.
No, because to some degree, the title of the show, Picard, that's a lie. That's a fucking lie. This is just more CBS Trek product, because Patrick Stewart, Picard, does very little in the show, all said and done. He's the most important character to ever do almost nothing.
Yeah.
He's not, I guess he's the leader, but...
kind of in charge.
What does he kind of do? Everybody else seems to come up with their own ideas, just fine.
You know what the thing is? All the people that wrote this show are like, well, okay, it's about Picard. I think I heard in an interview Patrick Stewart says, we don't want to get too into his character.
Do you think we will peel back some layers of Admiral Picard in this season?
I think it's unlikely that there will be any peeling back in Jean-Luc.
I think he just doesn't want to do a lot of acting.
To do a lot of work.
A lot of work. But I think they're like, well,
I don't blame him. He's an 88-year-old man.
Sure.
But
They're like, we've got to delve into his character. And the only way that they know how to do it is with cliched soap opera-esque nonsense. Like the mother and killing herself and, overly dramatic, silly stuff. I ran across a little teeny tiny video on YouTube of a moment from Star Trek The Next Generation that it says more about Picard's character than both seasons of Star Trek Picard. Picard is sitting in his ready room, and he's reading something on his little laptop, and he has his feet up on the desk. Beep, beep, beep. Someone's at the door. Carefully brings his feet down. Come, lets whoever in.
Come.
Boom. That's it. That's all we need. He didn't want to let whoever his subordinate who comes in see him with his feet up.
Yeah.
That's Picard. That's it. We watched 4 episodes, and the only thing that really popped out was in the very, 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 very last, 2 minutes of the last episode 9, not of the season, but of what we watched, where we discover the reason for the fascist, awful future of humanity.
Earth, in your time, finds itself in ecological freefall.
The man they turn to is you.
Rene Picard discovers something on the moon of Europa that will invalidate all of Dr. Soong's work.
Yes.
Rene Picard either boards a spaceship and makes a discovery that renders your work obsolete, or doesn't.
I assume she's going to find some kind of, I don't know, organism or space technology.
Here's the thing.
Something that
the writers don't know.
They don't know, but she finds something that, because Dr. Soong is doing experiments. He's not a cyberneticist. He is a geneticist. He's working with trying to cure diseases. And I betcha she finds a magic microbe that cures all of humanity of all their illnesses, right?
She finds a thing in space.
She finds a thing in space, maybe it's floating around space. But I bet you $1 million because he works with trying to cure Soji of her diseases that I guess he gave her.
He's made her out of scratch, and it's not perfect. The people he makes aren't perfect.
But when he does that meeting in front of a scientific board, remember Leah Thompson was on the board from Back to the Future, who directed an episode or 2. He's like, I'm Dr. Noonien Soong, I'm crazy. I'm gonna cure all the world's diseases, and that was his pitch. And they're like, you're nuts. And so I bet you she finds a little microbe that leads to the discovery, because eventually the future of humanity has to be no war, no disease, no poverty, no hunger, blah blah blah. Everyone all gets along. Gene Roddenberry's beautiful utopia. And so I bet you she finds a microbe that cures all of disease on Earth, and Dr. Noonien Soong wants to stop her. If he doesn't stop her, he becomes irrelevant. If he stops her, he becomes the man who is very important to the future. Remember, there's a giant statue of him outside Starfleet headquarters?
Yeah.
So he becomes this great geneticist in the future that helps, I don't know, steer the course of humanity in the wrong direction. And so that's, I was like, okay, finally, we know what's going on. Why Q wants to interfere and why he's lost his powers because he's dying?
Here's what I think is going on with Q. They're just doing all good things again, but worse. Q, thought he was immortal, but turns out, oh, I'm not immortal, I'm dying.
Immortal? So I believe.
Q was worried about his own legacy. And I think in his mind, what he's going to make Picard realize that he needs to open up and reach out to people, like he already did. And that he will help humanity by proving that humanity can grow and evolve. And that will be Q's legacy. He did something good before he died. I think that's all that is. He doesn't really want to stop humanity. He wants to prod Picard to grow. I think that's what's happening.
He knows Picard will interfere with his diabolical plan.
Yes, to have Brent Spiner hit him with a car.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? Q's been resorted to hiring Noonien Soong's great nephew to hit Picard with a car. I wrote down in my notes, was season 1 a giant waste of time? For the show, specifically. Like, all of the relevant character development in season 2, like you got Picard's love with Laris, you've got Raffi's relationship with Elnor, like, all of that happened, like, between seasons.
You're missing out on one important thing.
Picard might not even be an android anymore.
You're missing one important thing.
Yeah?
In season 1, we learned that Elnor loves swords, and then now his ECH, which isn't even him, gets reunited with his beloved sword.
Season 1.
Oh, why is Agnes keeping the Borg Queen a secret? She knows there's a Borg Queen in her head, and she knows it's bad news. Why doesn't she say, hey, Picard, hey, Raffi, hey, Seven, there's a Borg Queen in my head. You gotta strap me down and get the Borg Queen out of my head.
Because she wants that connection, and she's lonely.
The idea that we are talking about connection and intimacy and why we feel
she's yearning for connection,
and those
just like the
Picard's
Borg
life,
Queen.
really, most primarily delightful and exciting and a little bit deceiving.
You remember when Possessed Agnes murdered a man at a bar? They found his body in an alley, and I was like, oh no, it's okay, Agnes is in control. I mean, we wouldn't want Agnes to murder some. Oh.
Do you remember when 7 of 9 and Raffi both teamed up to shove a knife into that man's throat? But 3 minutes earlier, they have a line where 7 of 9 says, it's okay to kill them. They're all bored. They're not people anymore.
There aren't people out there, they're bored.
Yeah, I could see 7 of 9 saying that.
Right. It fits perfectly with her character. They've just been sort of assimilated. You can't take someone back from being assimilated, can you?
I sure hope all those people they murdered didn't have any important babies.
Right.
Goodbye, Captain Kirk. Your great granddad was a special agent operative, and he's dead now. You can't be born. Renee Picard is set up as the most important thing, and it's vitally important we save her. She gets like no screen time. She's gone. She's there for part of it. She's there for part of an episode, and then she's just gone.
She's sort of a MacGuffin.
Can't you make her a character?
They don't want to spend time on any. Remember, I said last time that wouldn't it be fun if the whole season was about tracking down the Borg Queen, right? They don't want to spend one minute on any specific thing. They have too many things that are being shoved in there by 26 people in a writer's room. Do you remember? Well, it's like Renee Picard kind of reminds me of. Is it Edith Keeler?
Yeah.
The lady that Kirk had to watch get run over by a car.
She had to get murdered so the Nazis could be stopped.
I'm in love with Edith Keeler.
Jim, Edith Keeler must die.
Yeah.
And then she's in the street, and he wants to save her, and then Bones and Spock grab him, and they're like, no, you gotta watch her get hit by a car. And we spent a lot of time with Kirk and Edith, like learning about them and getting to know them and empathizing with her.
It's one of the most iconic episodes of Star Trek ever.
It's a good time travel butterfly effect storyline. It's nice and simple.
Germany captured the world. No. All this because McCoy came back and somehow kept her from dying in a street accident, as she was meant to.
And yes, that was only one episode, not 10, but you could, if you really want to make it about a character that, it's the same as Zephyrin Cochrane.
Nothing about this needs to be 10 episodes.
No.
Nothing about this.
No, but I mean, yes, you have 10 episodes to play with multiple ideas, but...
Not if you do it poorly, it's a waste of time.
So yeah, they're at the gala ball, and Girardi has merged with the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen needs adrenaline or
she needs like the adrenaline brain. She needs the brain chemicals.
The brain chemicals make her produce her own nanobots faster or something. So she does something like big and epic in front of a crowd to raise her adrenaline level so that she can become the Borg Queen faster. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay. That's a dumb excuse to have Girardi go up there and sing Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar.
Mike, that was supposed to be a cute scene.
It's a karaoke staple, okay? And I guess Agnes likes it, and she sings it, but it's one of those moments, right, where you're just like, it's meant for like the dummies on the internet to say, that scene was amazing, it was iconic, and say all the dumb things, and to show clips from it, and remember when she sang, oh, so fucking awesome, and it was like, you are being fooled. It wasn't necessary, and it was over the top, and it was showboating almost.
Yeah.
It was stupid showboating.
Look, in the list of the show's sins, that's a minor one. That's a cutesy moment.
Surrender all your dreams to me tonight.
You know what's frustrating too is that you have this real show with real live actors, and all of them are good actors.
Yeah, like Agnes, she's nailing the Borg Queen. Like Agnes is her own character, and when she's acting like the Borg Queen, I know she's the Borg Queen. Yeah. She does a great job making that a different character. Yeah.
The primitive satellites are excruciatingly slow.
What do you want?
Faster satellite.
Let's move on.
Okay, let's move on.
Girardi then walks around Los Angeles and decides to go into a dive bar, right? And a guy with a beard eyes her up, and then for some reason she walks over and pounds her fists on the window to break the glass in another attempt to raise up her adrenaline level, right?
Yes.
And then presumably at some point the bartender kicked her out and she left with bearded guy who was eyeing her up in a sexual manner.
Correct.
The next day, I don't know how they found her, or that, security cameras.
Security camera footage.
They looked up security cameras. And then they go to the bartender or whoever was cleaning up the glass and they're like, you remember last night when the lady smashed the glass? Where'd she go? Well, she left with a bearded dude. Okay. And then they're like, which way did they go? They went that way.
Big, red beard.
Which way?
She went that way, 2-4.
There's like a cartoon.
And then it's like the next day and they're in Los Angeles.
She's been there all night with that corpse. Mike. Like a few feet away from the corpse, ripping out car batteries. Nobody noticed or said a thing.
When I'm looking, if I'm out like at a bar in Los Angeles at night, right, and I lose track of my friend, I'm gonna go back to that bar the next day and say, do you know where my friend went? He went that way.
You think when the cops showed up for the inevitable police report about the broken window, the cops would have followed?
They went that way.
They went that way. You think the cops would have walked around the corner and found her?
Right, and found the body too.
No cop?
You don't want to talk to the police?
I've seen how they deal with nutcases. Not exactly delicate.
You think when the cops showed up?
Now the whole idea of the Borg Queen running around modern day Los Angeles trying to start a collective, that's a season of television that I would have enjoyed.
That's awful.
Do you remember in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when Station went to the Radio Shack and started grabbing things to build robots?
Yeah.
I picture that. The Borg Queen with a shopping cart, walking around like Home Depot and Best Buy and Radio Shack, trying to build some kind of transmitter.
Now, Mike.
Yes.
Imagine you're in medieval Europe.
Sure.
And you get a pretty nasty cut. Your friend who's with you, I'm with you. I have a med kit. I actually have a first aid kit on me, and we need to get you treated. And I say, a med kit is no substitute for a good barber. And then we take you to the barber so they can put leeches on your wound.
And do some bloodletting?
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Rios is in love with Lady Doctor.
We gotta get Lady Doctor back on the show, Mike, because the ICE plot, that just ended.
He seems to know what's going on, and these are bad guys, and I've got to do something about it.
That whole subplot just ended. We gotta get Lady Doctor back. So, Brent Spiner is gonna try to commit homicide. And instead of hitting Renee Picard, he's gonna hit Patrick Stewart with a car. So Patrick Stewart's lying there, he's dying, and his friends all show up. And somebody logically says we should take him to the med bed. And then Rios says, a med bed is no substitute for a doctor.
Why a bed is not a doctor?
So then, instead of taking Picard to a hospital, they take him to a little tiny clinic.
Honestly, I don't know. Everything's working. I'm not sure why he's not waking up.
That treats sore throats.
That treats sore throats.
I think the logic is that they didn't want to take Picard to a hospital, I guess, because they would ask questions. But I mean,
you know what makes it worse? It's like he's part android now. Is he an android? I don't know if he's an android or not anymore.
He's a 100% human android. What aren't you getting? Flesh and blood android.
Clear.
But that doesn't make any sense. She says she needed to jump as hard, 10 times as many times as she's had to with anybody else. So not only did they take him to some weird little clinic to get treated for his life-threatening injuries, he's not even human. There's nothing she can do to help him.
You know what his androidness...
They needed to take him to a mechanic, Mike. He needed to see an engineer.
No, he bleeds blood and he is physically identical to a human.
But he's a robot.
I think he's more of a clone bot.
The fuck is a clone bot?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Does Alex Kurtman know what an android is?
I think they wanted to retcon that terrible idea. This whole thing is just a big disaster. It's just a big, bloated, ego-filled disaster.
Well, thanks to my co-executive producers, we found some great storylines and great new characters.
Season 1, very much Michael and me. Season 2, very much me and Terry. Season 3, very much Terry. There's a little bit of a glide in terms of, people being dead in the center of it or moving around, and each person has a slightly different Star Trek.
He was in a magic coma. They mentioned a coma is usually the brain has no activity. His brain is super active.
Because he's Patrick Stewart. He's so fucking awesome.
He was hit by a car, not a science fiction beam. But he's an android? But he's not an android. Why does he have a special coma after getting hit by a car? But it's okay, Mike. They talk in poetic dialogue. It's brilliant.
You think
it's so smart. But he's an android? But he's not an android. Is he an android?
It's just a reason to take him. Here's the reason why he went to the medical clinic, so that he could be unconscious, and so not Laris Watcher could put on her Romulan earpiece and her brain device and go into his psyche, into his head, and discover his terrible dark secret that when Picard was 9 years old, he saw his mother die by hanging herself. And then say, what now? And then, time is something that you wish you could reverse. The things you see, scars left on your soul. We wish we could backtrack them all.
It's
into the infinite. I'm not done with my dialogue. Into the infinite cosmos of time. Time echoes like a butterfly's wings when we see things that change us as the people we once were, but will soon become or grow into if we reverse the time into our lives. We have to recognize the moments that we share with each other now are priceless. And if we take those moments in time and we appreciate them and love them and truly realize that when we look up at the night sky and see the stars as they are, those stars once were different stars, and we realize in here we become something new. Wait, hold on. My phone is ringing. I think they're calling me to write for Star Trek Picard.
Mike, you just perfectly replicated everything I hate about this show and New Trek in general.
Good. I'm delighted. Thank you.
How about I give you this much?
Romulan. I knew it.
You were wrong. Watcher is an ancestor of Laris.
What did I say she was going to be?
You said she was going to be Laris, and that she was always the Watcher also of Picard.
I think Watchers, like even Gary 7 or Gary 6, I forget, they're all Romulans secretly. There's going to be a whole Romulan like sect that watches over civilizations and guides them. And we're still gonna find out that modern day Laris is a Watcher watching over Picard. That prediction's not off the table yet.
They're gonna drop that Gary 7 Watcher shit like a bad cold after this season's done. They're
gonna drop everything after this season's done, and we're gonna start from scratch again, just like last time, Mike.
Here was my thought, and for a fleeting moment in time, I thought, oh, please be true. So Watcher was attached to Picard's brain, and she puts on her earpiece that's in the shape of a Romulan ear.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought, you know, like when you have like a weird dream and things don't quite make sense, and then she looks like Laris, but she isn't, and then I thought, like, oh my God, because in season 3 they're bringing back the TNG cast. Oh my God. Are they going to retcon season 1 and 2 of Picard as being some kind of weird fucking fever dream. And none of this happened. When I saw the Laris ear thing, and then I saw she's a Romulan, I'm like, Picard's brain is all scrambled because of, she looks exactly like his housekeeper or whatever the hell she was in season 1, and now he's in this, and she's running around with 7 of 9, and all this, like, he sees Data, like the Brent Spiner guy looks just like almost like the fucking Wizard of Oz, you know? How the farm hands are the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man in her.
And you were there, and you were there.
Yes. And,
yes.
and Picard wakes up on the biobed under the care of Dr. Crusher, and she said, "You had the nastiest brain bug. you had Regalian of brain virus, Jean-Luc. You had Regalian brain virus for 2 years, Jean-Luc. We just pulled you out. I had the most fucked up dream." And then he's on the Enterprise F.
They're not going to do that, and for the record, that would also be a terrible idea.
I'd take it. I'd take it.
That's awful.
It's like if your house burned down and you have a FEMA trailer. You want the FEMA trailer, or do you want to sit in the snow? Your house just burned down. What do you want? I'll take the FEMA trailer.
I want them to put the whole thing down. At this point, I formally want Star Trek to be dead. I just pull the plug.
I have a worse thought.
I want Star Trek, the entirety of Star Trek. Just pull the plug and put the franchise out of its misery.
It's too late. It's too late because they have too many shows going. You're looking at this as just Picard.
And Discovery.
Here's my stupid, probably accurate thought. They've announced that the TNG original, all 7 original cast members are coming back, except for Will Wheaton.
I just wanted to be seen.
And I can hear Kiva Goldsman's voice in my head going, "Who's the biggest threat in all Star Trek?"
And to me, that I find that exciting. That, yeah.
The Borg.
I guess, yes.
You don't agree with it, but that's what they think.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And you meant, we only have 1 episode left. Girardi and the Borg Queen have merged into a new type of Borg, a kinder, gentler Borg, something like that.
I think so.
Honestly, I couldn't understand what they were saying.
Let's build a Universal 7.
We've just stabbed 7 of 9 in the belly, and we turned her into a Borg to save her. Now, in exchange for that, give us Rios' ship. We're going to fly to the Delta Quadrant and in 400 years start a new Borg empire. Flash forward to the first episode when the Borg Queen showed up. Clearly, that's going to be the Supreme Girardi Borg Queen, who has created a kind of gentler Borg.
Yes.
Season 3 will be the TNG cast reunited aboard a starship. They're listening to us, they're listening to people on the internet who say, this is a big pile of diapers. We don't want this. Then they shell out the money for one big final turd, which is bring back all of the TNG cast in one big epic season where they try to stop the Borg forever. Because the Borg are the biggest, most successful, most famous villain from the TNG franchise, according to them, and according to pop culture and osmosis by regular, normal people. You ask Jay who the villain is from Star Trek The Next Generation, he'd say the Borg. He's not going to say anything else. And I'll tell you the worst part about Star Trek Picard, Rich. One, I don't really want to watch season 3, and I don't think I will.
You know what? I think we can call it done.
Yeah, even if they bring the original cast back,
it's not.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And you, I'm sure, will say I can put up a wall of separation. I can pretend the show isn't real, doesn't exist, it never happened, and I can still go back and enjoy my TNG.
I am fully capable of doing it. Yes.
I'm starting to change.
Really?
Where unfortunately this knife in my heart has plunged too deep, and I see like pictures of Captain Picard from TNG, and like I cringe a little. and I'm just like, I'm done with it. Do you remember the movie Stand By Me?
Yeah.
I wanted to make an analogy where I was like, okay, Star Trek Picard Season 2, I'll watch it. I like, everyone likes to see a train wreck, right? Stand By Me, I don't know why I thought of this, was a movie based on a short story called The Body by Stephen King, where 4 young men, coincidentally, Will Wheaton is in that, all want to go and try to find a body.
You're excited to see the body. Oh, I get to see a body.
They say a guy got hit by a train and his body is next to the tracks. Let's go on an adventure to find this dead body and look at it. And along the way, they grow, they change. It's a coming-of-age story, and they do see the body, and then they all come home, and they've all changed and grown up. And Star Trek Picard is the body to me, where I was curious, fascinated, and then after watching it, I realized the dark side of humanity. What was once magical to me is no more. And now I've had my own coming of age, and I'm a man now. I'm no longer a boy, and I've seen the body. I can't tell you exactly in my metaphor what the deer represents, but I've seen the body, and I'm done. It's just disgusting, and I don't think I can watch Star Trek ever again. And you know what? People watch our show to listen to us talk about Star Trek Picard, and some of them watch Star Trek Picard to kind of listen to us talk about it.
You done with that shit?
I just can't do it anymore. It's too like, it feels like you're watching like a junky CBS program. It's lost all association with Star Trek for me.
Oh, I've kind of been there for a while, honestly.
I mean, I'm not naive. I know what it is, but talking about it is like talking about some completely random other show and putting a Star Trek name on it. It's bizarre. I'm just saying that's. I don't mean to be dour here.
No, I mean I think it's fair to be dour because it's pretty dour. This is the death of an old friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how most people feel about Star Wars right now. Because I don't give a shit about Star Wars. I haven't given a shit about Star Wars for like 20 years. And now I'm going through that with Star Trek. Like this is what it's like when that thing you love it's dead. It's dead.
And you know, there's that percentage of people on the internet that say, well, you're just grumpy and you're old and you hate it because it's this, and this, and you know, if you don't like it, just and I was like, okay, fine. I'm out. I'll leave you alone. Go watch your show. Pretend you like it. Go watch your show. I don't care what you do.
I think the hope is that our misery will give people joy. Mike, you've seen the opening credits to Star Trek Picard. This is a smart show for smart people. This is art. This show is high art. Listen to that symphony music and the falling glass.
Well, we'll review the last episode just to cap out this season. But part of me does now feel like I'm an art critic talking about a child's drawing that's magneted to the refrigerator, right? Look at their use of shadows. His interpretation of the sun with a smiley face on it isn't quite accurate.
Giving him 3 arms is an interesting artistic choice.
I don't know why the parents are quite so much taller than the children. It's like they're 11 feet tall and the child is a mere 3 feet tall. How could this be possible? The aspects are completely erroneous. Is this some sort of abstract work? It was made by a fucking 2-year-old, sir, with watercolors.
The road actually gets wider as it goes off into the distance, but the perspective makes it look as if it's just 2 straight lines.
he's not understanding spatial projection and perspective.
Or is he understanding it far greater than we ever could? And he's using this to challenge our perceptions of perspective.
Maybe he's saying the road of life doesn't narrow towards the end. It gets wider as it approaches the horizon.
And your choices open up.
Well, as we become older and more experienced, we become wiser. So as the road goes out, it just gets bigger. Even though in reality, the road would get smaller as it moves into the horizon. This artist is really quite brilliant. This work should not be on a refrigerator. It should be in the Louvre. Yeah.
Where are you going? Oh, you fucked up. You tripped on the chair.
So long, sucker!
Oh, God. Oh.
You remember when Elnor used the sword?
Elnor used the sword to cut people, Mike.
Hey, Rich.
It's smart writing TV. He cuts the people with the sword.
Rich.
What?
Do you remember when Elnor was an emergency combat hologram?
I do remember when they did that because he got to cut all the people with the sword.
Why were they shooting guns at him?
I was thinking that, yes. I don't know why, because...
I mean, if they're in a Borg collective, the Borg Queen probably was aware that Elnor was a hologram, right? Since she's pretty smart.
Couldn't she just smash the computer that made the Elnor?
You think, like, she would say, stop firing machine guns on this spaceship that's extremely important to me, you're gonna damage something? And also, he's a hologram, and you can't kill him with machine guns?
Maybe they were aiming for his hollow emitter. He had a hollow emitter on, right?
He did. He had like the Doctor from Voyager's hollow emitter. Why did they? That's a piece of 26th century technology that hasn't been invented yet. Voyager got it because they got it from the future.
I guess Elnor only ran around with a sword on the ship. I guess he didn't need that. But he cut the people with a sword.
If he's a hologram, why couldn't he just make a sword appear?
Do you remember when Raffi told Seven of Nine she'd be a great captain? And then Seven of Nine said, we're all gonna die? And then I thought, oh no, she wouldn't make a great captain, not if you're saying shit like that.
When Seven of Nine like became a Borg again, right?
Uh-huh.
Why did her exact...
I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud when she stands up and it's the exact same implant she had, identical.
Yeah, because those are the ones that they theoretically couldn't remove in Voyager, right?
Yeah.
Like the Doctor didn't have the know-how and to remove them.
No, they got removed because this is Seven of Nine from the evil Confederacy future who never had the implants. They make a point, she looks at the mirror and her implants are gone.
Yeah.
And so this... You just destroyed our table.
Last.
It gave her the exact same pork implants by chance, Mike. It was just by chance.
Because that's how Seven of Nine looks.
And I think that...
We're probably coming round the last corner.
We need that shirt. Oh no. You've just destroyed our table in a fit of rage. In a fit of irrational rage.
cooperation. Then they say, let's go.
So, Mark, what did you think of Star Trek Picard, Episode 10?
Let's take a closer look at the incredible, time-bending, tear-jerking, mind-blowing finale to an amazing season of Star Trek Picard. Control room, engage.
Well, we finally watched the final episode of Star Trek Picard, which is episode 10. We filmed ourselves in the screening room watching the program. And
this is strange because we're just talking about one single episode. Last episode we did 7, 8, 9. What did we do? The 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we're just doing 10.
Well, that's right, Gerard. It was the Borg Queen.
Yeah.
That was the idea, mister.
My initial prediction.
That was his
That was
mother.
his mother. That was wrong. I think we knew that after episode 3, but
It's all right, Rich.
It's all right.
You tried.
I did.
She hung herself.
My mother hung herself here in this place.
What does that add to Picard's character? What does that, I mean, did you ever get the impression that there was some traumatic event from his past and that's why he kept people at a distance, and not just because, he was a professional?
Because he's still alive and his life is continuing.
I have maintained that if you're doing a show about Picard, it's called Picard. Like delving into Picard's
Just
past.
stop.
Just
stop.
Just in a generic sense, delving into Picard's past isn't a bad idea.
Just stop.
Why?
Just stop.
Why?
Why are you even bothering?
Why are we here?
I don't know.
We were wondering what to do with the emotional through line of Picard, and we noticed that Picard seemed endlessly unable to stick with a partner that was romantic.
Wait.
And so we thought, interesting, brave man.
Absolutely.
Scared of nothing out there, but maybe scared of something in there. So we built what he was scared of.
Wait.
So what happened in this final episode? You said you didn't remember what Dr. Noonien Soong was doing.
I know in a generic sense, he wants to secure his future as I guess the grandfather of a horrible nightmare world.
The Borg Queen, played by Girardi, told him Rene Picard's discovery would invalidate all of his research.
Yes, which is why he became the head of her Borg Special Operative Squad. So our heroes in episode 9 fought the Borg Special Forces and won.
What is the...
And then, wait. They seem to...
We get to really finish telling a story, and I think you guys are going to really dig it.
Did he hint that he was going to throw drones at the Europa flight and try to murder Renee?
No, he said I'm going to stop Renee because if she succeeds, she'll make a discovery that invalidates his work. He will become a nobody and he will have no legacy. If she fails and doesn't go on the Europa mission, he becomes essentially a god in the future that shapes humanity and turns it into a nightmare world that he controls. Basically, the Earth is polluted.
Yes.
And they have to have space shields protecting the planet Earth from pollution, I think. Rene Picard finds a microbe that they bring back to Earth, which, like I said, cured the oceans or the environment.
And they found a way to heal the ocean and clean the sky using an alien organism that his Auntie Renee discovered during the Europa mission.
An organism cured climate change? Is that what she said?
Cured the oceans?
But that doesn't make sense because he's a geneticist. and he was trying to cure diseases. So they said the microbe.
That doesn't matter. The specifics of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whatever.
The idea that we are talking about connection and intimacy and why we feel we can or can't get close to people, and those struggles in Picard's life, really most primarily, are the journey of the season.
Wouldn't it have made more sense for Rene Picard to find a microbe that would cure humans of their illnesses?
The things they want to make a point about the show is the global environment.
Or climate change.
Yeah.
But Dr. Noonien Soong wasn't a climatologist.
Doesn't matter.
He was a geneticist who was trying to cure the diseases that his daughter was inflicted with.
That doesn't matter.
So if Rene Picard failed on her mission to Europa,
that doesn't matter.
And didn't go on it, then Dr. Noonien Soong would live in a world where there was tons of pollution. Maybe he built the shields that protected the planet, and that's what made him a god.
Out of bioengineering?
I don't know.
Did he? Okay, in the timeline.
What?
When does a 68-year-old Brent Spiner?
So, Laris the Watcher says, Picard, this is my mission. It's been my whole mission, my whole life, to protect Rene Picard.
I still, okay.
Would you not interrupt me, you
clown-haired
fuck?
I'm going to interrupt you because I'm confused about the opening of this.
I'll answer all your questions.
Why is Brent Spiner not in France at the start of the episode? How did he get back to LA?
Why would he be in France?
That's where Picard Chateau is.
What?
They were at Picard Chateau.
Brent Spiner was?
He was part of the. He was in the Borg hit squad in episode 9.
Well, he just took a flight back.
It's not like the next day?
It's the morning time. It was at night in France.
I don't think that women should wear hats indoors.
Picard, you copy. We were wrong.
Soong is not here.
That's because he's here at the launch.
Damn it. This entire bullshit scenario was designed to draw us here and away from Soong.
What if his voice is fake, but the drones aren't?
I've got 4 heat signatures. What behind here?
Whatever he's doing at the launch, I think we found his backup plan.
Can't stop Rene from boarding. He's going to use the drones to take out the rocket itself.
Why did she need Brent Spiner in the first place?
I don't know what to say. Wait. Let's talk about the overarching plot, right?
Oh no! Oh God, no!
Not skip everything. But the very opening of Star Wreck Picard is Picard and all of his friends are on the Stargazer, and they encounter the Borg Queen, and the Borg Queen appears hostile to the point where Picard blows up the ship. That starts the cascading event of a causality loop.
How does Q get involved?
Q saves them because he knows that the Borg Queen is really Girardi, who's there to help, not hurt.
Okay.
We needed a friend.
Okay.
And Q's final gift to humanity before he dies is to...
He is leaving behind a gift.
To show Picard that he needs to trust his deepest and darkest enemy, the Borg.
Would you talk about that a little bit?
Ultimately, though, Q needs to show Picard that he can open up to other people. You know, kind of like all good things, just convoluted and bad.
Picard realizes Girardi is there to help. She instead of just taking off her mask and saying, "Hey, Picard, remember she contacted and wanted to speak to Picard specifically.
Yes.
However, the way she goes about it in the beginning, it's perfect for a mysterious TV show opening, but logically it makes no sense. The first thing she should have done when she appeared on the bridge of the Stargazer is take off her chainmail face and said, Picard, it's me, Girardi. We went through a magical time travel adventure, and the thing is, there's about to be a big space cataclysmic event, and you need to trust me because I'm Girardi, and we need to stop it. This is what it is. Instead, she starts acting very hostile, and she starts shooting around Dr. Octopus tentacles and taking control of the fleet in an outwardly hostile action, which causes them to react appropriately by being very defensive, right?
Yes.
So what she doesn't do that for the sake of television mystery, even though it makes absolutely no sense for her character not to just come out right away and say, we only have a few minutes before a butthole in space shoots a laser beam out of nowhere to destroy most of the quadrant. We have to act quickly. So her plan from the beginning was to use her Dr. Octopus arms to tap into all the fleet, all the ships in the fleet, combine all their shields with the Borg shields and create...
What matters, Mike? What matters? What's more important than anything are the unearned emotional moments.
Yeah. That's what episode 10 was. It was a series of unearned
It's a
emotions.
series of kind of good, but unearned emotional moments. Like Q's final farewell to Picard. I like that. I like that scene. This show did not earn that because Q isn't in this season other than that scene and a couple cameos.
Because it's a TV show?
Okay, that's fine. That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
So yeah, this felt like a very quick wrap-up. There wasn't a very exciting ending. Brent Spiner has a plan.
Why is Brent Spiner a cartoon supervillain?
Because bad writing?
Why does New Trek keep constantly relying on cartoon supervillains?
Absolutely.
When did he have time to go back and create, program, and design
drones?
4 killer drones?
Yes.
When did he do that? Why did he do that?
Maybe he had them ready.
That seems like it would take more than an evening to get that ready.
He's a genius.
Did he not expect that after he blew up the Europa space a rocket with his drones that like nobody would investigate that incident and it would ever lead back to him? Why did the Borg Queen recruit him in the first place? I still don't understand that.
Yeah.
Please tell me why the Borg Queen, before she was Agnes, when she was still the Borg Queen, why did she go to Brent Spiner and say, I need your help? Why him? What did that get her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he was the designated villain of the season?
Let's just give me a moment here.
Okay.
The Borg Queen was the Borg Queen. She was, I want to start a collective. I want to assimilate. I want to conquer.
She wants to get on the ship and leave.
Yes, right. The Borg.
Why did she need Brent Spiner to accomplish this goal?
Stop.
I insist on knowing why.
Let me explain it. If you stop interrupting me, Ronald McDonald. Let me talk. I feel like I'm on the Geraldo show.
I need to throw that in your face. This is the Geraldo show.
Just let me talk. In the series, the Borg Queen is the Borg Queen. She is on a mission to re-establish the collective in the past. She's like, I'm the Borg Queen. I am going to do what I can to survive. I want new drones. I want to start assimilating again. I want to be the evil Borg that sucks up technology and life forms and creates all the things that the Borg